Hello everyone, it's Infinity Gamer here and welcome to another news update. Now, anyone who saw my last news update will realise that it kind of came out at the wrong time because Corvus Belli launched their Studio Update 14 pretty much to the day before I published the video, but because I put so much effort into that video I still wanted to launch it. So this is a more up-to-date news update which focuses on some of the new releases from Corvus Belli and others as well. Got quite a cool update around those novels that Winged Hussars announced were actually going to be coming out for Infinity. So the one that I have seen is Downfall. I've been really lucky and managed to see the first few chapters of that book. The early drafts, so they haven't been fully signed off, they haven't been fully approved, but what I can tell you about them is that they are amazing already. Like, set on Paradiso, and looking at the alien meteorite, cosmolite, that is found on Paradiso and is obviously part of the Paradiso campaigns. So, story around that, really great, because it focuses on the Pano units, it focuses on kind of camp life, at least in the first couple of chapters it's very focused on what life is like on Paradiso in a Pano research camp. Fantastic. I love the storyline, love the depth of the characters, and judging by where it's heading, it's going to be a fantastic novel and is exactly what Infinity needs. We need more fiction, we need more lore. This is definitely ticking that box. So really excited to see how that pans out. In terms of updates from Corvus Belli, we got updated sectorial charts, which feature the Chucks Long Arms in their corresponding sectorial charts. So if you don't have up-to-date sectorial charts, make sure you check those out and download them. There's no major changes other than the Chucks Long Arms, obviously. So that's a good one. We obviously saw the Studio Update 14 fairly recently. Some great updates there. One of the things that we saw was the Trinitarians. Those are fantastic. Like, I looked at the profiles a little while ago while I was building military orders when I got the pack, and I love some of the concepts of those. So there's like hidden deployment mine layer, hidden deployment sniper rifle. They're going to be a pain, and so they pretty much feature in each of the MO lists that I have created. We're going to get a pack of 3 with kind of each of the 3 main Trinitarian profiles on there, which is fantastic. We did see the Cyber Ghost. That looks really cool. I love the kind of like boop para-CC weapon, which is what he's wielding, or what they're wielding there. Really cool. I probably would not be launching my Cyber Ghost into a close combat attack, so isn't immediately like a CC pose to me, but the model looks cool. I'm going to get one because they're in almost all my Star Marder lists, even though I can't seem to get a picture off from one of them for love nor money, but that's okay. Something that also features in pretty much all my Star Marder lists, and we saw a model for, is the Varangian. Now, obviously super cool. This pose and this sculpt, a very CC unit. Love the axe-wielding Nordic style pose that they've gone for here. My only complaint with this is not only that he seems to be suffering from sinus issues, judging by the plaster on his nose, but that it's only going to be in a blister of 1. Now, obviously we're getting 3 pack of the Trinitarians with each of the kind of options there. But something like a Varangian, they're 12 points, 13 points, 16 points at most, but most people just run the 12 and then use that 13 profile to fill a gap if there is one. But you're kind of always running at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, because they're such good fillers, and they are that warband that charges up the field. So I think I would definitely have preferred that Varangians came in a blister of 3, at least, because I feel like most of the sectorials and most of the factions that use them would benefit from having at least more than 1. So, and then different poses is quite cool as well. So yeah, a little bit gutted, I guess, that it's only a blister of 1, but happy that Varangians are being released in any way, shape or form. So definitely going to get that one. Those were the July releases that we pretty much saw from Corvus Belli. We did also get an update on Tag Raid. I'm loving seeing all these come out, and this time we saw the 3D renders of the Eugene tag that we saw drawings of in the previous one, and I must say that it looks so much nicer in 3D sculpts than it does just in the kind of the drawing that we saw, the poster. So very happy with where that's heading. Looks pretty cool. But even more exciting news, we got to see a bit more. We got to see a Nomad faction tag, which was pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. We saw that it was a Corregidor company, which will hopefully nicely tie into the next box set that's coming out in a month or two's time, which I think is Crimson Stone. I get these... I get it confused all the time as whether it's Crimson Stone or Crimson Storm, and unfortunately didn't check before doing this video, which is why you're now getting 30 seconds of me rambling as to why I don't know which it is. But that's coming because that's Nomad's Ariadna, and the Corregidor faction is the basis for the Nomad side of that. I do hope that all the fluff that Corvus Belli talk about when they are doing these updates around Tag Raid actually makes it into the books for Tag Raid, because it's great stories around, you know, these, what was it, the Yujing multi-billionaire setting up of the Yujing faction that is then mining. That was really cool. The Nomad side of things, we actually saw a little bit that it was, the tag was designed by a Pano engineer that was exiled or was outcast, whichever it happens to be, and is then kind of like building tags to fund their lifestyle or something like that, and that she's a super successful tag designer. Again, hearing that is fantastic, but I want to see that in the fluff so that people picking up the game actually get a sense of that sort of backstory. So with this one, there's a bit of a story that the Nomad side of things are kind of criminals that are serving their time a little bit. So it gives me a sense that this is going to be a really cool mining company, because they're going to be ex-cons who are running this thing, so they're probably going to be violent. They might not be as, I don't know, engineer science-y. It's going to be a bit more fighty, so that definitely gives us a sense as to where Tag Raid is heading. And the Nomad tag itself looks real cool. When I first saw it, I immediately thought of the O12 Zeta because of the kind of the leg design. I'll pop a, yep, you can see there. But I love it. Obviously, once you get it in Nomad Red, it's going to look really cool. And that was a lot of the update that we got in the Studio 14. A little bit shorter one, which is great to see, but hopefully we're going to start to see a little bit more about some of the releases that are coming out in the not too distant future. Obviously, I will try and give you updates on Downfall as I receive more information around that novel. But again, enjoyable reading at the moment. I'm absolutely loving it. Loving learning a bit more about Paradiso and Pano, because there's a little bit more discussion around what each, I suppose, like sub-faction and group thinks of the other. So when you're thinking of like military orders, you know, they get talked about. The Hexus spy group within Pano, then what like Fusiliers think of those sorts of people. So really great to actually get a bit of a sense as to what each group thinks of the other two. And then obviously the underlying threat of the combined army on Paradiso anyway. So very cool stuff. Love the direction it's heading in. It's still about maybe 10 months away was kind of the time frame I was given, just because it's kind of in draft writing phase at the moment by the time it gets approved by Corvus Belli, so that it is canon levels of fiction, which is so exciting that we're getting some of that. And then obviously it gets through its edit and then gets through publish and things like that. It's still a little while away, but definitely well worth the wait and still on track. So it hasn't disappeared off the face of the planet, it's happening. Thank you very much for watching another news update, which I'm labelling as May 2, because I don't know what June's going to bring and it's a bit early for that. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check me out on the social media channels if you fancy staying up to date with everything that's going on in the background. And I'll chat to you soon.